3:06, and a very good afternoon from us. It's BBC Radio Northampton. Now, Paul Scully Sloan has come back into our studios here on BBC Radio Northampton. It seems like only 5 minutes ago that he was last here. That isn't the case, actually. He came in August to tell us the story of Daddies with Angels. Paul lost his son, Travers James, in November of 2010. Travers James was just 14 months old, a devastating event for both Paul and for his wife. However, Paul felt that his grief was compounded by having been, as he saw it, left out of things as dad, whilst his wife as mum, and quite rightly, received the majority of the attention and the support. Thinking that others might be in the same situation, Paul decided to do something constructive. Daddies with Angels became a support group for daddies who had lost young children and might well have been having the same sorts of feelings. Well, Paul came in to talk about the organisation to us. He came in last time to say that there was a nomination for the 2014 Butterfly Awards in the category of Best UK Support Organisation. The man's back here and he's got a trophy. Paul, good afternoon.
Hi, John.
How important is it to you to win awards as Daddies with Angels?
It's absolutely great. It does a number of things. It puts dads on the map in grieving. It puts our group on the map for children, not just miscarriages, stillborns, but older children and children that have died through of different situations, like being murdered or have a disease or something. But it also gives us actually a bit of credibility that we are recognised, and it's a way forward for us now.
We talked about Daddies with Angels, and it's important to make the point that you're not saying that women shouldn't be getting the support that they do. You're just saying that perhaps the dead dads sometimes, in the heat of the moment, get, if not overlooked, they don't get quite the same kind of support. And it's important that they do.
You do, yeah. I mean, we do support mums as well, because we want to be all exclusive. But people just don't ask the dads. The man will go into the pub and his mates will say to him, "How's your wife? How's your wife?" But very rarely will they turn around and say to him, "How are you?" And they should.
Is that because people perceive dads as being the strong, silent type and they just deal with what gets thrown at them, and rightly so too, they should?
I think part of that is, part of it is because some people just don't know what to say. And a lot of the focus is on the mums because she has the birth, the pregnancy, and the loss physically. And people do expect the dads to struggle on, but they don't.
I remember you telling the story of Travers James, your son, who lost his life at a very young age.
14 months. Yeah.
14 months, and completely out of the blue. There was nothing wrong with him. He just died one night.
Yeah.
Without any sort of explanation.
No, he went to bed fine. 5 o'clock the next morning he was found.
How does Daddies with Angels do what it does? It's not something that is purely for Northamptonshire. You are, remarkably enough, not only a UK agency, but you can help anybody around the world, really.
We have got members throughout the world. We use social media because it's free, keeps our costs down. We use Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're just going to set up some other forms on pro boards because nobody uses social media. And we have got members all over the world. We've got people in Australia, New Zealand, all over America. We've got a dad that recently joined us. His son was killed in a conflict in Iraq. So we've got people from Iraq all over the Middle East, all over Europe. And there's 4 of us that do it.
Now that's quite a remarkable thing when you consider the amount of time that you have available to you. In his name, I suppose, Daddies with Angels now carries on, given that you haven't got Travers James with you. So, in a sense, this is a new kind of baby. This is very much a proactive baby. What are the Butterfly Awards all about? Why did you get nominated?
Butterfly Awards recognises champions who have achieved something after a loss. For example, I set up Daddies with Angels after my loss. So people who have written books, there was authors, there's bloggers, there was people who have come up with some new initiatives. The company was there that created the Cuddle Cot. There was people from the NHS for their bereavement services. So it was a wide range of, there was inspirational mums, inspirational dads, there was a whole you name it, people were recognised for it.
Hundreds of nominations.
360 nominations.
That's quite something. And the trophy sitting on our desk here, it looks absolutely beautiful, actually. You've won through in the category that I mentioned, UK Support Group.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that endorsement by having the award lends gravitas, it lends credibility to what you're doing. How much of an encouragement to carry on doing what you're doing and to further extend what you're doing does that award now represent?
The world's an oyster. I mean, our biggest bugbear is funding, like I said before. But now when we apply for funding or grants or ask people will you sponsor us, we can turn around and say, look, we are credible, we are recognised, and by that would help us fund our publicity, our leaflets, so we can get them to Great Ormond Street who are waiting for them, we can get them to Children's Hospital in Birmingham who are waiting for them, we can get them to the funeral directors, and people say, look at the award and say, yeah, they're credible, we don't mind supporting them.
Still an issue about making the first step after that horrific bereavement that parents do all too often suffer, whether it's miscarriage, whether it's a little baby, whether it's somebody, in your case, as it was with Travis James, 14 months of age, and suddenly he loses his. It could have been a her, it could have been your daughter rather than a son instead. Does having the award, does having Daddies with Angels, to some degree at least, mitigate against the pain of losing a child for you?
Nothing can do that. Nothing at all. Nothing takes that pain away. So some people in the group, one of the questions they ask, does it pain ever go away? Do we get used to it? And the answer is no, you don't. You learn to understand what the pain's about. You learn to understand why you have these new feelings, and you know that you need to adjust to them feelings, not to try and get back to where you were.
In the meantime, it's all about social media, because that's where Daddies with Angels exists.
Mm-hmm.
Plans perhaps to go as a full-time operation with your own dedicated website, or will you keep this with social media?
We have got a website, but we are looking to, like I say, set up some pro boards, which is off social media, but it's on the computer. By using the computer, it means people can contact us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and people probably will have to wait an hour or so before someone gets back to them. Most of the time it's within a couple of minutes.
Keep on doing what you're doing, Paul.
We will.
Congratulations.
Thank you, John.
And long may you continue with the work that you do. Paul Scully Sloan, Daddies with Angels, now an award winner as the best UK support organisation in the 2014 Butterfly Awards, and well won too.